Oprah Winfrey broke down and cried this week, saying she had once smoked crack cocaine. You know, I don't know what she's crying about. I mean, you know, some people in this world never get to smoke crack cocaine. It's ridiculous. Huh? Earlier tonight, the New York Yankees defeated the Atlanta Braves and won the World Series. As a result, Atlanta Mayor Bill Campbell will send a bushel of delicious Georgia peaches to New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani. Had the Braves won, Mayor Giuliani would have sent Mayor Campbell a bushel of delicious New York crack. Earlier this week, the Food and Drug Administration gave approval to Nicorette chewing gum, an over-the-counter aid for those trying to quit smoking. Next, the agency will rule on another addiction-fighting product. The title of that one is, "I Can't Believe It's Not Crack." According to new medical research, crack babies are as happy and healthy as normal children. You know, that's amazing, you know, because I thought they'd be much happier with all that crack in their system. You know, it's crazy. And in the state of Washington, deaths from heroin hit record levels during 1995. Sorry, crack, it just wasn't your year. And finally, the Diamond Council of America advises that men spend 2 months' salary on an engagement ring, while the American Housing Company suggests that you spend 25% of your salary on rent. Interestingly, the U.S. Crack Association recommends that you spend all your salary on crack. At a press conference this week, Washington Mayor Marion Barry said he wants private businesses to provide 5,000 summer jobs for a district youth program. He also wants some crack. Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry is currently enjoying a 10-day trip to Africa. He says he loves everything about the continent, but he really misses crack. Meanwhile, Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry attended the march and called it a beautiful display of unity and solidarity among African Americans. His only complaint, the complete absence of crack. In Washington, Mayor Marion Barry praised the verdict as, quote, wise and just. And he called upon people of all races to please get him some crack. Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry has prostate cancer, but the disease was detected early, and he expects a full recovery. Doctors say in no time, Barry will be up and around and smoking crack again. In the current climate of gun violence, the NBA's Washington Bullets have decided to change the name of their franchise. When several D.C. politicians were asked for their suggestions, President Bill Clinton said the Presidents would be a good name. Senator Bob Dole said the Senators. And Mayor Marion Barry said, I'll be with you in a minute, right after I smoke some crack. Well, Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry says he has devised a money-saving plan that would close the district's Lorton prison and transfer its 7,000 inmates to private lockups. One hitch is that the financially strapped district doesn't have the startup money to implement the plan. Another hitch is that the guy who devised the plan smokes crack. So, 2 hitches. Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry is in hot water again, this time for bringing 54 government employees with him on a trip to a posh West Virginia resort. According to Barry, quote, that's how many guys it takes to keep me from smoking crack. In Washington, D.C., several local activists are trying to gather enough signatures by December to put a medical marijuana initiative on the ballot. Meanwhile, one local activist is trying to do the same thing for medical crack. A new survey by the Washington Post reports that D.C. Mayor Marion Barry's popularity among city residents has dropped to its lowest point in 5 years. However, Mayor Barry insists he has no interest in polls, or for that matter, anything else that isn't crack. Yes. He really has no interest in it. How good are polls going to do him? Last Friday in Washington, D.C., the city's elementary school students pledged to stay drug-free as a gift to their moms on Mother's Day. Meanwhile, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry got his mom a great big box of chocolates.
You were talking about going to the hospital in the last segment. I understand you actually had to visit yourself.
Yeah,
the hospital.
I went, what happened was on the show, on the Saturday Night Live show.
Yeah, that show. Yeah, I know that show.
I was on that, and Dennis Rodman was a guest.
Dennis Rodman, right.
And so we thought it'd be funny if he headbutted me, you know? Mm-hmm. So he headbutted me, but he did it really hard, you know?
Do we have a, I think actually someone supplied the clip. This is your...
Look, Dennis, I've had about enough of this. Now listen, if you plan to be here next fall doing book reviews, I expect to see a major attitude adjustment. You know, and while you're at it, a more conventional hairstyle and some clothes, for God's sakes. You're going to have to learn that there is such a thing as rules, Dennis Rodman. Rules. Do you understand that?
Sure. I understand.
Well, good.
That's the way it is. Good night and have a good weekend.
I went to the hospital. I went to say, I don't want to say the hospital, but I went to this hospital and to emergency, you know, and they're all like, they're the craziest guys in emergency, all like crack. Everybody's on crack, you know? Every emergency is a guy on crack.
Yeah.
So I went in and they go like, hey, how much crack do you have, you know? And I go, I'm not on crack. And they go, what happened? I go, Dennis Rodman headbutted me.
Straight to the heart. I went a long time acting like I was broken apart by you.
But it was Christmas in New York, you know, and I was alone. So anyways, I went, there was a diner that I always go to near my house. Mm-hmm. It's a really nice diner. And so I went there, and there was this homeless bum there, you know?
Just say a homeless guy. It's not politically correct to say bum. Why can't you say homeless bum?
No, I thought they didn't like to be called bums.
Yeah, right. A homeless guy, yeah.
Okay, well.
And then it's about to go down. We're here to stay and run this town. Bring in the heat, bring in the energy. We're the queens of the festival, can't you see? We're the queens of the festival, here to rule the stage. Dropping beats and make your body engage. From sunrise to sunset, we're taking it all. We're the festival queens standing tall. Ooh, yeah, ooh. From dawn till dusk, we command the crowd's gaze. Every beat, every rhyme sets our souls ablaze. With swagger and style, we own this domain. In the realm of music, we reign supreme, no chain. Feel the rhythm pulsating through your veins. Our verses ignite, fire never wane. With each lyric we spit, each move we make, we carve our legacy, leaving jaws to quake. We're the queens of the festival, here to rule the stage. Dropping beats and make your body engage. From sunrise to sunset, we're taking it all. We're the festival queens standing tall. Ooh, I get it. Ooh. No crown needed, our all's the crown jewel in the kingdom of sound. We never play the fool with beats as our scepters and rhymes as our decree. We're the sovereigns of rhythm for all to see. So bow down to the queens as we own the night. In the kingdom of music, we're the guiding light. From the first note to the last, we'll always be the festival queens, forever wild and free.
Anyway, so, okay. There was
I'm not going to let you get to this story. I'm just going to keep giving you a hard time about bums. You meet a bum, a hobo, a tramp.
A tramp, yeah. He had a little stick with a thing on it.
He was from the 1930s. Yeah, okay.
And so he says to me, he says, Can I get some money off you? I don't like giving the homeless bums money. I'll tell you why. Because I figure they'll do the crack. Right?
They'll do the crack.
Yeah,
okay.
my mom says never give homeless bums money because they'll go do the crack.